Good morning and welcome to the Global Financial Leaders Investment Summit. Today we are having conversations with global investors, and that means you today here at our event, jointly organized by the Hong Kong Monetary Authority and the Hong Kong Academy of Finance. Now, Hong Kong, as a world-leading global financial center, is constantly in dialogue with global investors and regulators around the world and the facilitators that power global finance. And that conversation has never been more necessary than now. Right now, we face a time of rising inflation, of high interest rates, a time of high and rising government debts and other storm clouds on the horizon. But it is also a time with greater focus on financial inclusion, on ESG, on exciting new fintech, changing how we do business, and even evolutionary changes to the nature of money itself. To help us to grasp these different developments, we have two fantastic panels today with global asset managers and alternative managers, and they are going to be discussing these developments and giving you a much clearer view on how you can manage risks and how you can seize opportunities. To open today's proceedings, we would like to welcome a fellow of the Hong Kong Academy of Finance, who is also the chairman of the Hong Kong Exchanges and Clearing. For decades, she has lent her quiet wisdom to the highest level bodies in government, universities, and financial bodies in Hong Kong and in mainland China. Ladies and gentlemen, today we welcome the chairman of the Hong Kong Exchanges and Clearing, Mrs. Laura.
Sponsored by the HKMA and the Hong Kong Academy of Finance. As the concluding session of the very successful Global Financial Leaders Investment Summit, which took place last 2 days, I'm sure you will all agree that the dinner at the M+ Museum earlier this week, as well as the very full, outstanding, and impactful sessions that we had yesterday, have all been exhilarating and energizing. Today's session, as a finale, will be just as stimulating. This morning's conversation will focus on creating value during uncertain and challenging times. From where HKEX sits at the heart of Asia's financial markets, we see connectivity as the essential ingredient in building continued resilience, in unleashing the opportunity across the region, and in navigating the inevitable challenges ahead. It is our belief that it is only through connectivity that we will deliver a shared, sustainable, and successful future. We see it in all industries, markets, and economies. Connectivity is essential. We hear it in our conversations, be those with government officials, companies, entrepreneurs, investors, innovators, in any context that we come into. Connectivity is essential. And Hong Kong EX have played in a world that is buffeted theme that we have indicate again the importance of Hong Kong as a connectivity region to the global success. At HKEX, we see great opportunities for Hong Kong to support the megatrends that are shaping the global landscape. Megatrends such as China's next phase of economic growth, the global sustainability agenda, the rise of the new economy sector, biotechnology, innovations, and many more. And we are proud to play our part through our role in connecting China with the world, in connecting capital with opportunities, connecting today with tomorrow, and simply, like today, hosting an event where we gathered, connecting all the international financial community. This is what we do best. This is what Hong Kong does best. It is great to be connected, and I would like to thank the HKMA and the Hong Kong Academy of Finance for organizing today's event. I wish all a very successful and enjoyable session, and I look forward to many more opportunities to welcome you to our Connect Hall in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Chia, the epitome of a super connector all by herself. We would now like to welcome to the stage the honorary president of the Hong Kong Academy of Finance. Since 2017, he has been responsible with his team, with the entire body of his government, for the main vehicle through which Hong Kong policy is made reality, the budget. The different institutions and government bodies that are responsible for Hong Kong's financial and regulatory environment and even its economic development all fall under his purview. He is the financial secretary of the Hong Kong Special
After the fruitful panel discussions of the investment summit yesterday, I hope you all feel recharged and energized. Today's discussion, conversations with global investors, will focus on how investors could position themselves to manage risks and capture future opportunities. It just can't epidemic, aggravated by geopolitical tensions, particularly those from Russia-Ukraine conflict this year. Inflation in advanced economies has been pushed to levels not seen for decades. Aggressive, prolonged tightening of monetary policies by central banks to curb inflation will further dampen global demand and investment. Hong Kong is an IFC, but we are also a small and open economy. We virtually have no natural resources and rely heavily on external trade and investment. Our economy is highly susceptible to external volatility. Turmoil in markets outside is destined to impact on Hong Kong. At a city level, how do we manage financial market risks brought by a world characterized by high uncertainties and volatility? Central to this is our belief that we must deal with security and development together in a well-coordinated manner. Security and development are two mutually dependent subjects. Financial stability is an integral part of financial security, which is the prerequisite for economic development. Yet economic development provides the best support to security, as it strengthens our ability and capability to fend off challenges and risks. That is why over the past 3 years, we have paid much attention to ensuring our financial stability and security. First, we have established a surveillance system to detect risks in our financial market. Together with financial regulators, we have adopted a cross-market, coordinated, and round-the-clock monitoring mechanism over all sectors of the financial markets. It provides, on a rolling basis, regular and in-depth reports, as well as ad hoc reports of the markets to enable us to detect if risks have been building up. Second, we have stringent capital and other requirements of the regulatees. We regulate and conduct on-site inspections and stress test them on both regular and ad hoc basis to ensure that they have conducted themselves properly and they are resilient, and reports filed by them are accurate and complete. We will act decisively ratio is around 155% compared to international standard of 100%. Classified loan ratio is just about 1%. Our banking system had assets of $3.3 trillion as at the end of last year, more than 9 times of our GDP. One aspect of financial stability that critics like to talk about during times of volatility is Hong Kong dollar exchange rate under the linked exchange rate system. Over the years, we keep the exchange rate of Hong Kong dollars at US $1 to Hong Kong 7.75 to 7.85. When the strong or weak side of the band is touched, the Hong Kong Monetary Authority will come in to take or give Hong Kong dollars in accordance with the system design. The consequential increase or decrease in the aggregate balance will trigger interest rate adjustment, and the market will eventually find its equilibrium. As mentioned above, we have built very strong buffers and resilience in the banking system to support this. And we have been exercising strict discipline to keep the capital inflow in liquid US dollar-denominated instruments so that we can pay them back anytime. It is all the more worth mentioning that our foreign currency reserves stands at around $430 billion, equivalent to about 1.7 times of the Hong Kong monetary base. So, if you bet against Hong Kong dollar, you are bound to lose. You can verify my advice with certain hedge fund managers in the US who has been wrong about Hong Kong dollar time and again. As for securities, Hong Kong's stock market is vibrant, active, highly liquid, efficient, and transparent, attracting investors from all over the world. We attach great importance to investor protection as well. We believe that for a market to succeed in the long term, it must be trusted by both market participants and investors. To achieve this, we set clear rules for our markets, stringent requirements on the participants, maintain high transparency of its functioning, ensuring that policies and practices are implemented in a consistent and predictable manner, for they are the cornerstone of international investors' confidence in Hong Kong market, where they can make use for investment and fundraising. The stock market in Hong Kong has been quite volatile recently. There have been calls that the Hong Kong SAR government should do something, for example, about short selling in the market. Let me tell you that on a daily basis, we analyze in depth the performance of our markets. For example, factors causing such volatility. Short selling and short positions, any concentration. Basically, so far, there licensed corporations and the mutual funds to ensure that they are financially sound and resilient. In short, amid market volatility, we focus on whether the markets are functioning orderly and properly, and whether there are systematic risks, irregularities, and vulnerabilities that will threaten Hong Kong's financial stability. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope my sharing on our philosophy and approach towards market regulation has facilitated better understanding and inspire more trust in our system and our markets. Hong Kong is an IFC with an internationally aligned regulatory regime, deep liquidity, great transparency, and much resilience. With proper safeguards to protect investors, we are simply the best IFC in Asia. You are most welcome to do business and make more investments here. I wish you all good health and the best of business in the coming year. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Financial Secretary. We know that you moved heaven and very sandy earth to be here with us this week, and we do appreciate it. Thank you again. Thank you. You, Mr. Secretary, you've had to deal with volatility as we all have done in our business, and the mandate of our next panel is to determine how we can create value in these uncertain times. Fortunately, we have a very able moderator who is going to guide us through the next discussion. Now, many of you know him through his many, many professional achievements in the world of finance. But I would also like to let you know that you have to get your hands on his books and give them to your friends for the Christmas season. Out of the Gobi and Money Games is a great way to get started. And once you've got those done, you'll be ready just in time for his new book coming out in early 2023. We will be hot down to Bookazine to get our copy of Money Machine. a trailblazing American venture in China. So with that, I will welcome our moderator. Please, yes, sir, you are right here in chair number 1 as our moderator. We'd like to welcome our panelists in rapid fire. We have William E. Conway Jr., who is the co-founder, the interim CEO, and the co-chairman of Carlyle. There we go. He is going to be followed by Luke Ellis, who is the CEO at Man Group. Thank you very much, Mr. Ellis, for joining us. We would like to welcome Ben Wei, who is the group head for Macquarie Asset Management. And thank you. And Jim Zelter, the co-president of Apollo Asset Management. And with that, thank you. Mr. Shan, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations, Paul, Eddie, Laura, for this very successful summit so far. And it's so delightful to see Hong Kong opening up like what we're doing right now. And today, I'm extremely honored to moderate this very distinguished panel of leaders in the alternative asset management industry. And these are all veteran investors, and they have been through many economic cycles. In the past day or so, we have heard many people talking about challenges facing the global economy. Top on everybody's list is high inflation rate. And then we talk about geopolitical risks. Now, in the United States, inflation rate is now more than 8%. And we know that the interest rate is about 4%, coming up from 25 basis points about this time of last year. I think it is probably just a matter of time that the economy in the United States will slow down sharply. And we know that this year, the economic growth rate for the country is expected to be about 1.5%. So we know there are challenges over there. However, the labor market remains quite tight. Unemployment rate is 3.5%. So it's questionable where the US economy is going to be next year. Now, if you look at Europe, the situation is much worse. Inflation rate now is double digit, exceeding 11%. Interest rate is still quite low at 1.5%. And keep raising interest rates, which may not be high enough to tame the inflation rate, but may be high enough to push the economies into a recession. So we worry about it. But here we're in Asia. And if you look at Asia, you talk about the high inflation rate, you ask the question where the high inflation rate is. Just look at China, right? Where the inflation rate, the last I saw, was 2.8%. It's very tame. Whereas interest rates, well, interest rates last year was 5%, and this year is 3.65%. So the monetary policy, as Governor Yi Gang yesterday pointed out, is accommodative, very different from the Western world. However, the Chinese economy is sharply slowing down, as we know. The target for economic growth rate was 5.5%. But in the first 3 quarters, it registered about 3%. I would think barely. So it's very low, and Japan is still trying to reflate its economy, whereas the interest rate in Japan is minus 10 basis points. Right? It's still negative interest rate, and the Japanese yen has dropped more than 30% in the past 18 months. We're all dollar-denominated investors. So if you think that Asia is attractive, well, you have to watch about your currencies, because the depreciation in currencies because 4 of them represent about 2/3 of the world economy. For the United States, it's about 24% of the world economy. For China, it's about 18%. For EU, about 17%. Japan is relatively small at 5%, but Japan is very significant for the Asian economy. So looking at this just 4 major economic bodies in the world, one question that comes to mind, and that is, at this very moment, not tomorrow, not next year, not 2 years from now, at this very moment, which market of the 4 is the most attractive? Where would you bet your money? We know all the challenges, we know all the difficulties all around the world. So where would you bet your money? May I start with Bill?
You sure you don't want to start with one of these other?
The reason I start from you